What's up, tubers? Tio here, Simplistic Fishing, back at you tonight with more lake breakdowns. This time, we're out at Wright Patman Lake. That's right, down just southwest of Texarkana. We've already done one episode on this one. This is going to be our second episode. Still staying with Google Earth. We've probably got maybe three, maybe four Google Earth episodes for this one, and then probably a couple Navionics ones. We'll see how it goes, but right now we're on episode 2 for Lake Wright Patman. And hey, it's your lucky night. I just created a new intro for the channel. Check it out. For those of you that have already seen episode 1 of the Wright Patman breakdown, you'll know that we started over here at the dam. We worked our way up the north side and then kind of back here, back to the west. Then we kind of swung back down, moved our way back to the east. And we got right around this point, right where you see those flames are. So that's where we're going to start tonight. Real quick, let's run over on the left side and just show you how this is broke down in case you didn't see the first video. We've got it broke down by offshore hotspots, which we're going to talk about once we switch over to the Navionics video. So I'll tell you guys why I think those are offshore hotspots, why those should be areas you should be looking at to see if you can locate some fish. We've also got all the different channels and tracks. Those are going to be all your creek channels, your ditches, stuff like that that's out there. Lots of different types of cover, from road beds to debris to stumps to just all kinds of different stuff to take a look at there. And then I even broke out the laydowns and the brush because there was a ton of laydowns and brush on this lake that I think could be very productive for you as well. And then finally, we get into the rocks. You guys know me. You know I love the rocks. Anytime I can find rocky areas on these muddy type bottoms, I feel like it's just a really productive pattern. And then also the boat ramps. The boat ramps are a key pattern that you can run here in Texas as well. And then, of course, the last thing would be the Texas Park and Wildlife fish attractors. Now, we talked about this in the first video. Texas Park and Wildlife puts fish attractors out there. Typically, they're out there for the crappie fishermen, but they're also really good places to find bass as well. So what we do is we download the waypoints or the GPS coordinates that they give us, Texas Park and Wildlife gives to the public. We download that, and we include that with our waypoints. That way you have everything on one card to put on your graph. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump over to the map and let's see what we can find. So I'm going to move this over. I don't have to move my date back because I get to stay on this date. 3/22, the date that I show here, is actually the date where I can see where the water is the lowest. So I doubt if it's actually gotten full since March, but maybe it has. But my feeling is it's probably staying pretty low. It's been hot and dry around here lately for a very long time. So let's go ahead and start here. This is where we started, was on that laydown. It was right there just off the bank line. And then we're going to keep moving over. The next thing you find here are just a couple different laydowns as well. You've got one right here and one right here. Let me see if I can get a little better image. I think 21 or 22 was our best image, but let me just make sure, because you do see a little bit of laydowns here as well, but I don't know if that's going to be any better than our 2022 one. And then I think it just becomes a mess after this. So it's going to be a mixture of what we found in 2016 and what we can find in 2022. So you can see here we've got a little bit of laydowns going on there. You've got some laydowns off this point as well, so those could be very interesting. And then we're going to come up here. We're going to get around this little bend, and here we've just got a couple different areas of just laydowns, some more laydowns down here, and then some more up in here. And then there's this area here that I talked about in the first video. This is a really good pinch point, especially if that water's deep enough in there for the fish to travel back and forth through that little channel. That channel will produce current. Bait fish will go in there. The bass will set up on the outside edges waiting for those bait fish to come through there. So just know, when you find a funnel place that looks like that, that can be a really, really good area to find fish. You know, we talked about it in the last video, fishing up here, fishing here, around this point, fishing right here around this little point here. But then also, now that we're on this side of it, this is going to be your main area right in here. Just anywhere right in here is going to be a really good area to try to locate them, as long as that has decent depth, which it looks like it does. So let's keep moving down. We've got a couple more laydowns right in here. Nothing too impressive to really spend too much time showing you guys. Here's where we're at. We went right around that main island. And now we're going to come down here. Now this offshore stuff that you see over here, we're going to talk about that when we get over to Navionics. So I'm actually going to turn it off so it doesn't confuse us. When we get to Navionics, we'll look at the contour lines and you'll see why I think those are offshore hotspots. So as we get down here and we get around the bend, we're now kind of off this main lake point. There's some pretty good stuff coming off this point. One, we've got a little laydown right here. And then there's two little stumps that are out here too. If I draw this back to 2015, I believe it was. Let me make sure. You never know what you're going to find in some of these images. Can't see it there. At some point in time, I found these. There they are. So 2015 looks like it may be our best image. And it's right there. And you know what? I marked that as stumps, but I'm starting to wonder if maybe that's not birds. Because when I moved that to 2019, they're gone. 2022, I don't see them. I can see everything else from 2022. So, and then now over here, check this out. Now there's more birds over here, but those actually look like birds because they're in the right formation. But that just seems very weird that we'd find birds in the same spot. But I'm going to go ahead and remove those because I don't see those stumps out there anymore. Very strange. Haven't had that one happen before. All right, let's keep on moving down. We've got a lot of different laydowns right here. This point, fishing this point is going to be good. It's a main lake point. It's probably got some type of a ledge out here somewhere or something. So just check it all out. That's going to be a really good point for you to look at. Now let's get over in here, kind of the little backwaters of Wright Patman here. So we're going to go over here and take a look at this spot first. One, we've just got some laydowns right there off the point there. Some additional laydowns right here in this area. Some more that's down here. Sorry about that, guys. My throat is giving me a problem today. And then out here, just a couple things to check. Now, here in 2022, you can't see it. If I go back to 2015, you can see it here. Now, I don't know what this is, but you definitely just want to check it out and see if there's anything there. If there is, it's got potential because there's three of them. There's one right here. There's one right here. There's one right here. Now, it is possible that could be like waterfowl, birds, or ducks or something. I just don't know. So check it out because that's another one of those things where I only could see it in 2015. But I would find that very weird that there would be all these birds in these little bitty sections. So definitely check that out. See if that's some standing timber. They could get up there. They could basically suspend on that timber, things like that. And that's a really good entryway right in here because that's the main lake there. And then it kind of opens up here into these back little coves. So definitely that area in there. Check those spots and see if there's anything there. There might not be anything there, but check it anyways. All right, so let's keep moving up. We've got a little track up here where a little creek comes in. Now, if I move it back to 2022, you can see that creek bed just a little bit better up in there. Didn't see anything too crazy there. We got a couple more laydowns just as we go down these bank lines. And that's really going to be more your springtime fishing when you're just pounding the bank. Just spend a little more time when you get to these spots that show laydowns because there's going to be some submerged laydowns down there for you to fish. There's another one a little bit further out that I missed. But these are really good spots in the spring. Now, in the summertime, I don't think I'd waste too much time working on these laydowns, but definitely in the springtime and the fall time, I would definitely be up there working those. There's another laydown there. All right, so as we get here, we're getting over here close to this Kelly Creek landing. When we get over here by the marina, just some things to consider. We got a couple boat ramps right in there that you could fish. They don't have a ton of rock around them. They weren't like there was really heavy riprap going down the sides. It's basically just your boat ramp, and that's all you're getting. You're not getting anything else besides the boat ramp, but still would be worthy of fishing because that's really the only hard area in this whole entire pocket. So something's gonna be attracted to that area, and definitely be worth checking out. You've also got a couple more creek channels back here. You've got one up here, and if you go back here, you've got a pretty good little creek channel that you can see that has some pretty good bends. There's a pretty good bend right there with a little opening. Always love those little intersections like that. Got another bend here with some brush and stuff. I mean, if the water gets up, that's going to be a primo area right in there. Also back in here where that little turn is and where that opening is right there. Those are all primo areas to try to find some fish, especially in the spring, again, and in the fall time. So moving through here on these coves, I didn't see a lot of laydowns, nothing really special that I could point out, at least from Google Earth. And remember too that on this lake, some of those lakes I'm able to see when the water's down 20 feet, 30 feet, actually on some of them. It's something crazy like that. So I can see a ton of stuff. Well, on this lake, I'm probably only seeing the water down 3 to 4 feet, maybe 5 feet. So I'm not able to expose a ton of stuff on this lake. So there could be a ton of underwater cover and things like that I'm just not able to see from this mapping. But hopefully this will at least get you in the right direction. So we've got some more creek channels back in here. You definitely want to look at those creek channels. If you've heard me talk about trying to find fish, especially in the fall and the spring again, I'm always looking at those creek channels. And then even in the summer, if I'm setting up in the summer and saying, man, where would I fish? If I could only fish this area right in here, where would I fish? Well, I know that they're going to be relating to those creek channels. So pretty much I'm going to probably going to eliminate this pocket right here completely, and just focus more on this main opening right in here. Maybe these little openings right here, but I'm not going to go back in that pocket. I'm going to work a lot around that little point there, a lot in here, and a lot around these main points. But all of them, if you notice, all have creek channels that run into them, all those points that I talked about. And so that's kind of how I would set up if I was going to this lake for the first time and I was just pinned to that one area. That's what I would focus on. And then as the seasons change, as fall comes, maybe I slip back to some of these secondary points and start looking at those as early fall comes. As late fall comes, I get way back in here where these creeks are. And then I work my way back out in the winter and do it all over again. So let's keep moving on down. Let's talk some more about this lake and what it has to offer us. We've got a ton of laydowns on this bank line. Look at this. There's just a ton of them. So if you're on a pattern where they're just hugging the laydowns, you've got some golden stuff right off of this bank line. You've got a ton of laydowns that you could work. You could flip all day just going on that bank line and find plenty of laydowns to work over in that area. And the good news is your main lake doing that as well. I mean, you're right there smack dab in the middle of it. You're probably not off the main creek channel because it's probably further down here, but you're still main lake, and that's going to be a good area to try to find some fish. As we move over here, this is what I was talking about. There's just laydowns and brush piled up everywhere on this main point that's out here. Basically, you'll see it's right here towards the middle of the lake. Just tons and tons of stuff. So let's run through it pretty quickly because I don't want to bore you with it, but just laydowns, brush, some more brush in here, additional brush, more laydowns over in there. We get up in this little pocket, there's some laydowns. There's some more brush right in here that really sticks out a little more. Right in here, I wanted you to check this because this looks like potentially an old boat ramp. Now, potentially, I don't know. It could also be an old roadbed. And it's possible that that roadbed might run from here, where that ramp is, to somewhere over in here, where it shows rock, maybe right in there where that picnic area is, maybe where's the old roadbed, or maybe it came over here. I don't know, but something looks suspicious about that, so I wanted you to check it. And don't just check it where I put check. Check it out here and see if you can get some rock piles and stuff a little bit deeper. That's where your bigger fish are going to be. All right, so this boat ramp too. This boat ramp looks good. It's got really good rock and stuff off the sides of it. Looks like it drops off pretty good. I would definitely go and check out that boat ramp. That boat ramp looks like it's got some pretty good potential. So then move over here. We just got a little bit of more rock around the ramp, more laydowns. And then over here, these got these two little points. Not a lot of rock on this lake, but some man-made rock right in here, a little bit of riprap or something going on. So definitely something to check out if the water would come up a little bit. Obviously, with the water being this far down, that's almost out of play. It's going to be so shallow right now. Now, looks like we're at Sasquatch Landing. That's pretty cool. I wonder if there's any Sasquatch there. I'll see if I see any on Google Earth, and I'll point them out to you. So as we move down here, we've got rocks, more laydowns. Look, these are huge laydowns. And you can tell the water's usually up here, so that's going to be almost completely submerged when the water's up. We've also got more laydowns here, more brush and stuff that's in here. Again, it looks like something was out here. Let's go back to 2015. You can see some stick-ups going on as well, or something. Stick-ups or trees or something going on here, but let's move it back. Something triggered me to think that there might be some brush here. I'm not sure what it was. It could have been the fact that I saw it on Navionics. So check out this spot right in here. You definitely see some standing timber. So maybe there's a brush pile by it. The other thing to notice is you see this little white line. Well, that white line is an old road. And it looks like it hasn't been used in forever. If I can get it to go away, you'll see it doesn't even show up. Luckily, that white line is there, though. So it's telling me that there was a road there. Well, if there was a road there, you had to connect somewhere over here. So then we go over to this bank line and see if we can see where it connected. And that I don't see anything at all. So question is, does that roadbed come out here? Likely it does, and it does something out here. So go out again a little bit further, probably right where that brush symbol is right in there. Go out there and start scanning around and really look for that roadbed. Look for bigger rocks, concrete bridges, submerged culverts, stuff like that. There's probably something right in here, and that's a beautiful place to put it, to have it, because right there it's right off of a main lake point as well. So pretty good stuff. All right, keep moving up. We got more laydowns, more brush. Tons of lay down brush all along that bank line. We've got more debris that's up in here, which you can't see in 2022, but in 2015, might be able to. I can't see it, but I promise you I did find it in one of these years. That's why it's marked. I've also got some more lay downs up here, and then some more brush that's right in here. Let's go back real quick. And I just want to show you what this boat ramp looks like when the water's actually up, because it's going to look a lot different. All right, this is 2013. I imagine the water's probably at full pool here, or maybe even a little bit above pool. But all this stuff that we've been pointing out, all that brush that looked like it was just right out, pretty much on land, those are all primo spots. When we get up here, we've got more laydowns up here. This is all those two little rock jetties that we saw. Those are submerged, so those are going to be money in the spring. So you can just see where all this stuff, all of a sudden, it becomes very high percentage areas to find some fish, and we just keep finding it just all through here, just tons of laydowns and stuff like that. So move up to 2022. Let's keep moving up. We got the laydowns here. We got some more debris that's out here, probably just laydowns, and I just couldn't tell what it was, so I called it debris. We've also got some more laydowns that are back in here. This image is not giving me everything that I want to see them, and I can't seem to find the exact image on Google Earth to show you guys what I was looking at. But you got some laydowns in here. Check that in there. I'm not sure why I wanted to check that, but check it, because I saw something on Google Earth at some point in time that sparked my interest there. And then as you move back here, you've got a nice little creek channel with some laydowns down here as well. So I haven't talked about it throughout the video, but go out and check out our site, simplisticfishing.com. You can actually find I think it's up to 70 different lakes now that we're at. We're really close to 70 lakes, if not over 70 lakes. You can get the digital files, so I can email them to you, and you basically just take that, put it on an SD card, import it into your graph. You'll have all these waypoints. You can also order the SD card, and if you do that, everything's already on the SD card. You just do the import process, and you're good to go. But it'll change the way you fish, because you'll be able to go out on the lake, and you'll see all these waypoints on your graph. So if you're sitting out here in the middle of the lake, you're like, man, I don't know what to do. Let's try a couple different patterns, for example. And you'll see me do this a lot on new lakes. I said, Landon, Landon's my son. I don't know what to do here. Let's just pick something and run with it. And if it works, we'll stick with that pattern. If it doesn't, we'll move on. Well, I might say, hey, let's go look for points with rock on them. Well, in this case, there's not really a ton of rock on this lake. So you could probably eliminate that pretty quickly. If I just wanted to go fish points with rock, I can look here and see here's all my rock, and I only want to fish the points. So I'm going to fish all these points that have rock. And if that's a great pattern, we'll run it all day. And if it's not, maybe I'll switch over to laydowns, and we just go flip laydowns all day. And maybe that doesn't work. Or maybe it's more about fishing the creek channel bends. And so if that's the case, I'll focus on the creek channel bends. But it just makes it so much easier, because I can quickly identify exactly where all the rock is, exactly where all the laydowns are, exactly where the pond dams are, just all kinds of good stuff. So anyways, make sure you check it out, simplisticfishing.com. Let's go ahead and jump back in here and finish up our video. We'll keep on moving. So we talked about this creek channel up in here and the laydowns that were up here. Let's go ahead and move over here. This area in here looks like it could get pretty shallow, so you'll want to be careful. And I'm not sure how good it'll be. Sometimes these really shallow areas are awesome for fishing, and sometimes they're not. My guess is this one's probably going to be pretty good. One, when you get up in here, if you can get back in here when the water's up, pretty good little road bed that's back there at looks like Claiborne Crossing Landing. So you can see here some pretty good rock off the edge of this road bed, and it probably goes a little bit further out. You never know. So go check that out for sure. And then when you get back in here, if you don't get lost in all this craziness that's going on back here, when you come up here, these are old lakes. So this right here that I've got marked here, this is an old lake. So if I go back, you can actually see it a little bit better. So those lakes, the thing that's interesting about these lakes is that sometimes, especially if you're back here, it looks like that water must have pretty good depth because that guy's moving pretty good. So if you're back here in these waters, and this probably isn't a very good image because it doesn't actually show it, but a lot of times this is going to be, if it's muddy or maybe it's not as clear, these areas will usually have the clear water. These old lakes, they're going to be a little bit deeper than everything else, and they just seem to have the clear water. So these blue areas, these are going to be old lakes that are out there that you can go check out. And then if you look back here, this looks like Frog City, Punchin, all kinds of good stuff. We've marked the creek channel for you so you know exactly where the creek channel is. And pretty much, guys, you know how this goes. You focus on the turns, you focus on the bends, and I guarantee you're going to find some good stuff back in there for sure. That looks pretty juicy. All right, so let's move on just a little bit. We got about 5 more minutes left, and then we're going to have to cut this one off. So let's go ahead and go down to this point right here. And we'll finish right there at that point. And the next video will probably take us to the dam. And then we'll have one more video where we talk about the Navionics side. So let's talk about what's out here in the front. We saw the creek channel when the water was up. What about when the water's down? So here's what it looks like when the water's down. And if we come out here, there's a little bit of rock. You can barely see it. But there's a little bit of rock right in this area. It's just right in this little hard spot right here. So check that out and see what that is. Sometimes those little bitty spots like that can really collect fish. You've got another one of those spots here too. You just got a little bit of random rock that's there. I have no idea why that rock is there, but hopefully you can find something hanging around it. And then right here, you've got a channel swing. Now you can't see the swing here because we're not on Navionics, but this would be your channel swing where the channel is actually coming down here and it's swinging up against this point right here. And that makes that point a magical, magical point. So you want to fish right around in here. There's a creek channel coming in through here, and there's a lot of good stuff going on right in that area. So let's move on down here by Pine Bluff. We're going to move over here by this point. Again, we're getting into an area where starting to see a little bit of rock. Not a ton of rock, but it doesn't take a lot. It just takes a little bit of hard spot to attract them. As we move over here, when we get into this area, we've got another good little point, and this is a good pinch point right in here. You notice how the creek channel, we said the swing was here, and I don't know where it's at, where it goes after here, if it goes up here or if it comes down here. It doesn't necessarily look like it runs on this bank line because this doesn't look that steep, but it could. And if it does run down here and swing around here, that makes that another good point for sure. But either way, you got a little bit of a pinch point going on here before you get back in this little bitty pocket. And that little point right there could be pretty productive for you. Also moving over here, you got some more rock off each one of these points you could look at. Again, if I zoom in, you'll see it. It just changes a little bit, and you're starting to see the rock. You can see it right in there. You can see a little bit right in here as well. There's, again, not a ton of rock on this lake, so the rock that you do find is probably going to be productive. You've got more laydowns here. A little bit of rock out here, just kind of scattered in here. Not a lot of rock. Maybe a few pebbles here and there, but nothing too crazy. And then over here, you've just got some really good laydowns. If the water's up, those are going to be really good laydowns. They're laydowns off of a main lake point, close to a creek channel, all that good stuff. You know we love it when they set up like that. So check out those laydowns right there. I think they're going to be really good for you. We are going to stop on that point. I think what we're going to do is probably should be able to finish up in one more video and take you guys all the way back up here to the dam, if I can do it quick enough. And if so, that will finish our Google Earth video. And then we'll swing back one more time, maybe 2 times, to talk about the Navionics side. And that's really about talking about offshore fishing. So using the contour mapping to find and locate high percentage areas for bass. So make sure you check it out. Hit that subscribe button down below so you can stay up with all the series that we have out here. And if you have another lake that you fish in Texas, go check out the Simplistic Fishing playlist for lake breakdowns, because odds are I probably broke that leg down for you already. Anyways, guys, until next time, I hope you catch your PB. Take it easy.